In the green heart of the Central African jungle, where ancient trees intertwine like aged witnesses of time, a deadly silence prevails. Sarah, a female ranger with eyes burning with conservation ideals, is kneeling on the damp ground. Her breath is heavy, her hands locked behind her neck in a posture of helpless surrender. But if one looks closely into those eyes, they would see a pain greater than death, the collapse of an absolute belief. Standing before her is not a strange poacher with a rugged face, but Jack, the seasoned captain who once held her hand through her first steps in the ranger profession. The rifle in Jack's hands does not tremble. It is cold and precise, just as he once taught her to aim at practice targets. Now, that muzzle is pointed straight at her heart. Sarah is terrified, not because of the gun, but because she realizes that the colleague she respected most is the dark link in the international animal trafficking ring she has been investigating. This betrayal cuts as deep as a wound to the soul. Around them, the darkness of the old forest seems to thicken, and flickering behind giant ferns, the deep, powerful eyes of Karoo, the silverback gorilla, are quietly watching. A tragedy between humans has begun, right under the gaze of the god of the green forest. Jack does not pull the trigger immediately. The sound of him chambering around is dry, echoing through the space before vanishing among the dense canopy. He sighs softly, a sigh carrying the exhaustion of a man who gave up his soul long ago. He lowers the muzzle slightly, but his gaze never leaves Sarah. "I did not want to do this, Sarah," Jack begins, his voice deep and frighteningly persuasive. "You are a good ranger, perhaps the best I ever trained. But you are too naive. You look at this forest as a cathedral, but me? I see poverty and the hollow promises of the government." Sarah looks up, her lips trembling with suppressed anger. "So you sell it out?" "You sell out Karoo, the animal you once called the symbol of freedom?" Jack laughs faintly, taking a step closer, his tall boots crushing young sprouts underfoot. He offers a deal he calls the only way out. The poachers do not want a dead gorilla. They want Karoo alive. A private zoo abroad has offered millions of dollars for the king of the jungle. But there is a problem. Karoo is too smart and too strong. High doses of tranquilizers could stop the heart of an old beast like him. And the poachers do not want to lose a cent if the cargo is damaged. "They need you." "Sarah," Jack whispers, full of temptation. "You're the only one Karoo trusts. He sees you as a friend, a part of the troop. Just help us lure him into the transport cage without violence, and you will have enough money to leave this place. You can save your family, even build another sanctuary if you wish." He begins to manipulate her empathy by focusing on the decay of the system. Jack tells stories of other colleagues struggling with starvation wages, of children without medicine, while high-ranking officials enjoy the funds meant for the forest. He deliberately turns his criminal act into a revolution for survival. This money will help the rangers have a better life. We only sacrifice one animal to save dozens of people. It is a simple economic calculation. Sarah. The pressure from Jack weighs on Sarah's chest like a boulder. She feels disgusted by how he uses kindness to justify betrayal. Jack stands there, gun in one hand, the other extended as if inviting her toward the light. But Sarah only sees a black abyss. She knows that if she nods, Karoo will be caged for the rest of his life, and the soul of this forest will die forever. Jack checks his watch, his patience thinning. "Do not make me choose a worse way. Think carefully, Sarah. One call from you could save all our lives, or one bullet from me will end everything right here." While Jack is absorbed in his arguments, Sarah feels a cold chill run down her spine. Behind the dark bushes, the massive shadow of Karoo remains as still as a rock. He is listening, and perhaps he is waiting for a signal. The atmosphere in the forest seems to thicken under the heat of the threats. Jack stands there, arrogant with the gun in his hand and his fallacious arguments about money. The poachers behind him grow impatient, whispering and clutching steel cables and heavy iron cages. To them, Sarah is just a tool, and Karoo is a walking pile of cash. They do not realize that, in the world of the deep jungle, The one holding the weapon is not necessarily the one who holds the power over life and death. Sarah kneels there, head bowed, but her mind is working at high speed. She realizes Jack has fallen so deep into ambition that he has forgotten the most basic survival instinct of a ranger: sensitivity to the changes of a jungle. She takes a deep breath, feeling the scent of decaying leaves and the specific moisture signaling an approaching rage. Karoo is not just an animal. He is the friend who shared the quietest moments of the wild with her. Taking advantage of the moment, Jack turns to signal his accomplices to step back and give her space to work. Sarah closes her eyes. She does not use words, but a more ancient language. From her chest comes a series of low, guttural sounds, a deep hoot combined with a soft tapping on the ground. The danger and counterattack signal she and Karoo accidentally established through years of observing each other. Immediately, a world-shaking crack echoes. From behind the ancient tree, a massive mass of dark muscle lunges out like a cannonball. Karoo does not run away. He charges straight at the poachers with an incredible speed for his bulky body. A roar tears through the air, not a roar of fear, but the roar of a king executing justice on his territory. Chaos erupts in an instant. The poachers, despite having guns, are completely disoriented by the sudden and fierce attack of a silverback gorilla weighing nearly 200 kilograms. Karoo uses his immense strength to toss a man holding a net, sending him flying meters away into thorn bushes. While Jack is stunned by the powerful gust of wind from Karoo's charge, Sarah is as fast as a leopard. She spins, using all her strength to kick the gun out of Jack's hand. A breathtaking chase begins under the dense canopy. Sarah does not run toward the trail, where the poachers could easily shoot her down. She lures them deep into the core zone, where roots intertwine like spider webs and swamps are ready to swallow any stranger. Jack roars in madness, grabbing another handgun and chasing with his gang. Sharp gunshots ring out, tearing through green leaves, but the jungle seems to be protecting Sarah. Hanging branches obscure the vision of the enemies, and Karoo appears and disappears like a ghost, constantly launching ambushes from both sides, causing the poacher formation to crumble. In this battle, modern technology and weapons become useless against the knowledge of the terrain and primal strength. Sarah runs while signaling to Karoo, both coordinating perfectly like a single enemy. She knows that this is not just an escape, but a purification by the green forest against those who betrayed the oath to protect it. The chase leads them to a steep cliff, where a waterfall plunges into the deep valley below with a resounding roar. This is the dead end. Sarah stands at the edge, her breath ragged, sweat mixed with blood from scratches caused by branches. Behind her, Karoo is growling, his black fur standing on end, shielding her from the approaching gun barrels. Jack emerges from the mist of the jungle, his face distorted with anger and despair. He has lost everything: honor, comrades, and the self-respect of a ranger. Beside Jack is the lead poacher, a man with snake-like eyes and a modern sniper rifle. He no longer has the patience to catch Karoo alive. Enough, he screams, drowning out the sound of the waterfall. If there is no live beast, I will take its bile and paws. As for this girl, she knows too much. He slowly raises the gun, the black muzzle aimed straight at Sarah's chest, she who is standing as a shield for Karoo's heart. In that fatal moment, a strange silence envelopes Jack. He sees Sarah, the young colleague with steady eyes, unafraid of death. He sees Karoo, the creature he spent half his life protecting before greed blinded him. Memories of his first days in the profession, of the oath under the forest conservation flag, suddenly rush back like a flood. He realizes that no matter how rich he becomes, he can never buy back the peace of soul that Sarah possesses right now. "Do not shoot," Jack screams, but the leader has already placed his finger on the trigger. A loud blast tears through the humid air. But the one who falls is not Sarah. In a final instinctive moment, Jack lunged forward, using his large body to shield her. The bullet pierces his shoulder, dark red blood splatters, staining his old ranger uniform. Jack collapses into the mud, his eyes looking at Sarah one last time, containing an unspoken apology. Jack's sacrifice is the spark for the final wrath of the jungle. Karoo, witnessing the enemy fire, no longer holds any mercy. With an extraordinary leap, he lunges straight at the lead poacher before the man can chamber a second round. The strength of the Jungle King descends like a meteorite. The leader is thrown over the edge of the cliff, his screams lost in the violent roar of the waterfall. The remaining men, terrified by the spiritual and physical power of Karoo, drop their weapons and run headlong into the deep forest, where the justice of nature waits for them in every dark corner. Sarah drops to her knees beside Jack. She lifts his head, tears falling on the dust-covered face of her mentor. Jack whispers, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. "The forest? It is still green, right, Sarah?" She nods through her sobs. Jack closes his eyes, his breath fading amidst the rustling leaves like a lullaby from the wilderness. He died as a traitor, but managed to leave as a ranger. Justice has been served, but its price is a scar that will never heal in the heart of the survivor. As the last rays of the dying day pierce through the thick mist, painting the valley in gold, a strange and peaceful stillness returns to the sanctuary. Jack's body has been taken away by the reinforcement team, leaving a quiet void at the cliff. Sarah stands there between the boundary of life and death, of goodness and betrayal. She feels her soul has just passed through a great storm, shattered but becoming painfully clear. Karoo does not leave immediately. The giant gorilla stands a few meters away, shedding the ferocity of a warrior to return to being a silent old friend. He looks at Sarah with deep amber eyes, as if he understands everything she just went through. In the world of wildlife, there is no deception, no vain ambitions. There is only survival and loyalty. Karoo approaches, gently touching his large, rough hand to Sarah's shoulder, a clumsy gesture of comfort that carries immense healing power. We often talk about protecting nature as a noble duty, but sometimes we forget that nature itself is protecting the remaining human part within each of us. Jack lost his way because he let greed overshadow his reason. But in his final moment, the breath of the jungle woke the conscience within him. His death is a tragedy, but also a redemption, a reminder that it is never too late to do the right thing. The sanctuary now carries a new name in Sarah's heart, the place of second chances. She decides to stay, continuing her work with a heart that is more calloused but also stronger. Every morning, when the early dew still rests on the leaves, she sees Karoo standing on the hilltop, looking toward the ranger station. His presence is proof that love and respect can build a solid bridge between two worlds. This story is not just about a gorilla rescue, but about the rescue of the human soul itself. We live in a world where everything is priced, where greed can turn friend into foe in the blink of an eye. But the green forest remains there, silent and forgiving, reminding us of values that cannot be bought with money. It is integrity, it is compassion for our own kind, and it is the responsibility towards smaller creatures that need protection. If the story of Sarah and Karoo touched a corner of your heart, please leave a comment below. We cannot change the whole world in one day, but we can start by changing how we view nature and those who quietly protect it. Do not forget to subscribe to accompany us on future emotional journeys, where faith in humanity and the magic of nature are always lit. Remember, the forest is not just trees, the forest is breath. And protecting the forest is protecting your own breath. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next stories.